Matt, could you just provide your assessment of the scrums on the weekend? It seemed like an area where there were quite a few infringements that went against you.
Yeah, I think whenever I sit and chat to the referees about it, I say to them it takes three entities to have a good scrum outcome. It takes us, an opposition, and a referee. So I think the areas that we could improve upon wasn't tidy. Technically, I think there's things we could have done better. We needed to adapt to, and we worked hard on them. Pity we took a bit of time to adapt to it. I thought we got better as the game wore on, but when an opposition presents you with a problem, you need to adapt to it quickly, and because errors at set face time can cost you games. So we needed to adapt quicker. We've learned from that experience, and I think it's going to be a different challenge this weekend. All Blacks tend to take you on physically. We're a very settled scrum system, so they don't tend to try and present you with different pictures. They present you with more brutality than tricks. So I think we've learned from the Aussie game, and we've adapted where our technique wasn't good enough, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Matt, do you think a guy like Ruan would take a lot out of that Aussie game in terms of the way they also come with their tricks and the wily?
The myth about the Australian scrum is long and dead buried. I mean, these guys play week in and week out against New Zealand and South African and Argentinian franchises, and they've developed. They've got a very good Argentinian scrum coach. That front row of theirs is very, very experienced. So they've adapted. What impressed me about them on the weekend, their body position was good. They were comfortable at scrummaging low, and that's something we needed to adapt to. So we're learning as a front row. I think the key for us is, I thought Ruan was really good in Super Rugby, and finding that rhythm for him, finding that confidence for him is key for us. And so it's probably for me to take on board as well where he is feeling and how I can promote him and make him feel as comfortable as he was Super Rugby, because the Lions really did do well as an 8 in Super Rugby, and that's what we're striving for, is to get that same picture. I think France was really good when he started off for us this year, and Cooney came to the party, and Cooney stepped up. So with every new change you have in the front row, and I'm not using that as a statement, I'm just saying with every change, different body shapes require different approaches. France being 6'2", Ruan's a lot shorter. There's different approaches, different aspects we need to adjust to in our own technique. And I think the problem on Saturday was where he learned was when the opposition presents you with a different picture, how to adapt to it, how to have a plan B that suits us. So that I think is working our technique in depth, having a plan A and a plan B if an opposition does certain things to you.
Now, just a word on Beast. I mean, a couple of guys have said he's playing rugby of his life at the moment.
A couple of guys?
Yeah.
Can you specify?
It was Maxfield, wasn't it? After
no, it's just when you ran general comments about. I just want to know the specifics.
So how do you feel he's going? I mean, how would you assess his performance this season, and probably for the last 18 months? Really?
Well, I've said it from the beginning of the year, from last year. The guy with 95 Test caps. That's a lot of experience. Sure. I mean, he's the most experienced South African prop of all time. I played against the big. Well, that will come to me. But the years I played, experience counted for everything. And Ors, that's the name. Ors won 2 World Cups. And they're pretty much similar type of players. You can't chuck that type of player away. I mean, when Jake went and fetched him out of retirement to come back at that World Cup 2007, he was incredible. Front row is about experience, about learning. Exactly what the question you asked about Ruan. Because every scrum presents you with a different challenge. And you only pick it up by learning the trade at the coalface. So I think Beast is comfortable in where he is. He is such an integral figure in the team. When he stands and talks, guys, listen. If I think of this young man next to me, how the two of them have foiled each other has been incredible. You know, the game in Perth, it was also a challenge for us to get hold of them in the first half at scrum time. And I thought the work that the starting front row did compared to when the guys came on, that's where that happens. They foil very nicely together. You know, so I think Beast is really focused on what he wants to achieve, and the parameters Alistair set on in the beginning of the year about conditioning, about work rate, he's taken on board as a 30-year-old and said, well, if Steven can run a repeated sprint at that, then I have to be able to do it. And when a senior guy with 95 caps sets that type of work environment, it's very easy for the younger guys to follow. And that's leadership. So I'm very proud of what he's achieved. I think not just his scrummaging ability, but his play, his defensive play, the fact he's passing. You know, he's an ex-back row forward that has that skill. So the fact that he's comfortable enough to do that is very pleasing. As a forwards coach, having Steven, Beast as your two lucid props, I'm very fortunate. I'm very pleased to have the two of them.
He's obviously played a lot of rugby. Is it going to be important to manage him carefully with 2019 in mind and moving forward over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think he had a break after the June series. He had a bit of a break from Super Rugby, and I think he came into good form having had that break. I think it's important to do that to senior players. And we talk as coaches about building capacity. In this case, up front, it matters. Test caps matters for front row forwards, and we've got Steven, who's an unbelievable player. Oxenchair's an unbelievable lucid. Lizo Koboko, who's an unbelievable lucid. Thomas du Toit is an unbelievable lucid. So if there was ever an opportunity, we need to create it to look at making sure that we've got depth in our lucid capacity. We've been tested on the right-hand side. We need to still build more capacity there, but we know we've got a lot of good lucids in the country.
So I'm talking about the lucid. Obviously, the guys just come through. For example, Trevor, and I know you can play both sides. But a guy like Walker that he coached at the Storm is he's also somebody that can offer a lot in the tight position. Yeah,
Wilco is a special player. I remember when Gert brought him into Province and said, Matt, we've signed this new tight head. I want you to take a look at him. I mean, my eyes had jumped out of my head when I saw him. And when you meet the man, you realise the character he's got. I think Province has a wealth of tight heads. I think France will have a Wilco, Francois Wyk. There's three very, very good tight heads. And there's still, I see they're bringing in a couple more. So the work they're doing is very, very good. I think for the Stormers, they've got very good front row forwards. Two very, very good hookers. Very good lucids, JC, Steven. So they've got a lot of good front row forwards. There's a good healthy culture there of front row forwards, which is really pleasing to see when they play. They've got an appetite to scrum. We scrummed there today, and it was good to be there.
Do you do live scrumming sessions?
Yes. We didn't do yesterday. We normally in a week did it. Just for the sense, it's we're looking to keep the guys fresh this week. But we did about 10 live scrums today, and this afternoon we'll do some live binding. So we'll focus on our binding work 3-on-3s, and then on Thursday we'll do more 3-on-3s and 2-on-1s where we focus on the different pictures that the different props that we put under. So more individual work, but I try and every day do some form of live work.
Just on the binding, I see Jerome Gardens is definitely on Saturday, and it's a lot of the calls got to do with the referees. Are you going to have a chat with him?
No, we'll have a chat. Alistair and I will have a regular Friday meeting with the referees. Every Friday we have a sit-down with the referees. Obviously they do a lot of work and they present us with certain aspects that they want to look at. And the same with us, we want them to have a look at certain things. But I think the nature of the beast we're playing this week, they present a very particular challenge to you, and it's more on the physical side of it. So I think the decision for the referee will be an easy one about dominance. So whereas maybe in a different opposition there's different pictures to see. So I'm very confident that due to the nature of what we're facing, Jerome will be able to make a very accurate assessment.
Matt, is it difficult to adapt to different interpretation from the referees in terms of the front row? And when you think there's going to be one solid interpretation in the future?
Well, I don't think it's ever possible to have one solid interpretation. I mean, me and you will look at the Mona Lisa and have different thoughts on it. It's just the nature of people. I think a lot of good work has been done on World Rugby, Sanzo level, the Championship level, that a lot of research, a lot of talk has been done on the scrum. From an old propping perspective, I would like to see the referees stamp their authority more, and their personality is not driven by a particular picture, because it changes, as you said, it changes week to week, where they have a bit more empathy to the game. A ref like Kaplan was very strong in his belief about the scrum, and it's like having a test referee in cricket, where their personality is part of the game, and you need to understand that, and you need to factor that into your preparations. So I think it's never going to be black or white, because you've got 2 tons of weight coming together, and those jerseys are very small where you can bind on, and so much emphasis is put on the bind, and so much of the talk around scrummaging is how long a scrum takes. That's it. Where you're going to put a fat body like this otherwise on the rugby field? We've all got to have a place on the field. So, if I look at the work done by the props, the guys that are making 15, 16 tackles a game, Stephen carries about 10, 12 times a game. He lifts every line out, he mauls, he stops mauls. The work done by the bigger guys is getting more and more. The clever attacking sides are looking for your front row forwards to attack them, so the defensive work and agility has improved, has to improve. So I just see the emphasis at scrum time is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, where these guys are going to have to be asked to do more work, more powerful, because that's where the research is going. So the importance of what these guys are doing is crucial.
Steven, what would it mean for you to get that the use of first start?
Haven't you had one?
I haven't noticed. No, at the moment I'm just enjoying every moment I get on the field, and if it's coming off the bench or getting a start, it's incredible just to play in the Bok jersey.
Can you just translate it into Afrikaans as well? Just your gevoelens oor jou moontlike eerste begin vir die Bokke?
Ja, op die oomblik gaan dit is vir my belangrik om op die veld te wees en net elke oomblik te geniet, en dis my eintlik 'n groot eer. Beats en baie goed op die oomblik, en hy het die rugby van sy lewe, so is as ek dit kry of as ek van die baan kan speel, is vir my ewe belangrik.
Coach het gevra van die kompetisie tussen die ouens en die Hoese ouens. Hoe belangrik is dit vir jou en die res van die ouens wat dit nou kan sien, om die Bokke vorentoe te kan neem?
Ja, ek dink die kompetisie is goed, want dit druk albei spelers om net die beste op die dag te wees, en ek dink ons leer ook by mekaar, elke oefensessie leer ons met mekaar, en ons chat daaroor, en ons praat oor sekere dinge, soos die bind wat 'n groot deel is van scrum, en jou body shape en jou speed of engagement waarop ons werk. So ek dink die kompetisie is goed, en ek dink dit stoot ons albei vorentoe.
Steven, kan jy net ons 'n idee gee van dit? Jy het natuurlik in baie stede en van verskillende lande gespeel. As jy teen 'n span soos die All Blacks spanne, met dit gepraat van jy weet wat jy gaan verwag. Wat is die verskil tussen hulle en byvoorbeeld die Aussies, wat kompleet is, en is dit gemakliker vir jou as 'n scrumwerker om teen 'n span soos die All Blacks te speel?
Ja, ek dink in Nieu-Seeland is 'n groot physical konfrontasie wat op die veld kom as dit kom by scrumtyd. Hulle kom nie met tricks, hulle kom reguit vir jou. So dit is wat dit hou jou in die fight. So as iemand uittrek, dit is nie altyd gemaklik nie, maar in die All Blacks as jy jou shape reg kry, jou bind reg kry, en jy vat dit kan ons sê head on, dan gaan dit 'n goeie fight wees op die dag.
Dis Steven, seker 'n fight wat hulle laas gewen het in die Albany, dit was redelik oorheers daarso. Is dit iets wat julle redelike motivering is hierdie?
Ja, ons het hard gewerk ons prosesse reg te kry, en hierdie week gaan dit net oor om die prosesse in plek te sit en vorentoe voetbal te kry.
Do you think that, was that your assessment, that they had the upper hand?
Well, yeah, I thought they were physically in that game. I thought they were dominating the collisions.
Collisions or the scrum? I thought you took one.
I thought both.
Yeah.
Okay, 157 nil, I guess.
No, you just said they won the scrum battle. I just asked a question.
What do you think happened with the scrum battle?
I thought early on in the game we were very dominant. We won a penalty early on in the game. First two scrums we were very dominant. I think the big change came when Crockett came on. I think he made a big impact. I thought Kane Haynes' first test start was exceptional for a young man making his first test start. But I thought it was a very good contest between two very strong packs.